Hello, what's up, FL Studio Gangs? ICMU. It's been a couple days since I've been mixing this. I've been busy. Et côté que sorti pour my vision Sandra Knipe, we'll see. So we're gonna play with the what? I'm not. let me take those off. We're gonna go to the actual track to see what we did. So I don't know if my laptop is gonna be acting up. So let's see. First thing is for the vocal, I don't even know where to start. It's like so many stuff I want to go over. I'm gonna go to the track and I'm gonna basically turn this off so it gives me a chance to play. Clipping. This track is clipping because I took yes, not actually, yep. So what I did, I know that I said I would go back to the bass. So I've got the Ambala about 65 hertz. I still take out some of that bass, and these are like some filter throughout the track. And I did use a soft clipping on the track because there was like so many, comme si ton fréquence cap like bop, cap monter descend, there was a fréquence constant on track là. And I did do more than last time. You remember, I did just faire ça avec ça, but when you see, I'm sweeping a lot. The track was a bad mixing track. I mixed on the just the lower mid and high mid and the highs. I was, it's just the track was just badly mixed. But I was on the vocal. The vocal, I got so many vocal change actually. So I got an aux reverb. I kind of send every vocal in the aux reverb, like you can see 5. And I have a vocal chain at channel 9. When I have it's a yes sir, I have some saturation and some multiple compressor, and I got some EQ again. But let's see. Hopefully it plays. Let's see if it. Yeah, that's because it doesn't have those effects on. If I put those effects on, it's gonna be like. Let's see.
Let's make Haiti great again.
Yeah, I need to turn that down.
Great again.
I just like the sound.
Yeah, it's that's the oxy reverb. For the vocal, I think we go over that. Just some basic cleanup. Again, just too much, man. Too much going on in the vocal. I don't know where to start, to be honest with you. And is the funny thing is I had to apply some low pass and actually have a automation for that, because I think some of the microphone now, it picks up, see right here, not so much, but here, especially for that one, I use a lot more low pass. You might thinking like, why am I losing a low pass? Why am I having high cut on a vocal? That's because I think he recorded in his room, and like I said, et puis microphone comme si d'habitude les sons c'est pick up en pile fréquence, like a lot of buzzing, a lot of easing, a lot of nozzle frequencies. I feel like if I'm gonna do sweep a lot, il va laisser en pile la présence high là. So I'd rather just have a high cut and just go back and forth to see where it sounds good. But right here, it's like this one needed pas besoin de pas, but thing is for those vocal, I use the telephone effect, I think, which is something that
I want to, nigga, please, I gotta say it. My family.
as you can see, there's always still a vocal in the background, and these are like I use the telephone effect for those. I didn't do much to him, just the telephone effect. Yeah, that's crazy. See, I use the telephone effect and some compressor too, because that time like voix les anti gens les mettre téléphone effect, the deux côtés voix anti gens bumped, and I use a lot of saturation. I know, to give it some kind of high presence, but and here again same thing. Even still, mettre noise in the background, or still on the track like I've joué. That's crazy. You guys hear, right? You guys hear.
Trying to stop my living. I work too hard, nigga. Please, I gotta say it. I work too hard, nigga. Please, I gotta say it.
And then there's that tag. I think he got the beat from YouTube. I think he had a beat star or whatever. But apparently the beat has a tag. I like this. So I had to kind of like filter it out just instantly right here. Look.
Great again.
I just like the sound.
See how light it is? But with the filter, look how I filter it out.
I just like the sound.
It's a lot more, acceptable, I think. I use, like I said, I break this down again. It's just so much stuff I want to break down. Here again, I so many automation. Here again, this is for. But I even forgot why I have this. That's for an EQ. This is for an EQ that I use. Let me show you what I did. So on channel 2, I actually used this EQ. Actually, let me see. Where is that EQ again? So you get an idea of what I did. Okay, not this one. Okay, so here. So here I bumped the 3,000 something hertz. Parce que vocal là que gain partie de vocal là, especially the first vocal, he needed it. Let me see if I can pull it up, solo it.
Walling in the fucking air. Trying to make it home before it's 7:35. I have 2 kids, I gotta raise before I lay down. I have 2 kids, I gotta.
So right here, I needed that. Since I process all my vocals, but tout vocal you process your même genre. What ended up happening is the second vocal that comes in, they didn't need it. So what I did, I could have created an automation here. So what I did is, the fact it didn't need it, I kind of like create, and I need some bump here, and I need to swing on 500. There is 18 and 500 long, and boost around the highs 3,000, almost like 4,000 hertz, because I feel like it's the crispiness of the vocal, almost 5,000. But for the next vocal, so this vocal here, ça les besoin pour me faire ça, pour me déballer crispiness là. But this one, not so much. So what I end up doing is I got a full on, activate the EQ in here, and I bumped it. You will see.
Gotta race before I lay down. I got walling in the fucking air.
As you can see, there's not much difference, right? Because what happened is this one was already crisp. I think it took him some time. Il était trop close pour devant comme micro. Des fois, tout monsieur trop loin micro. You know, stuff happens. But I felt like for this, it needed that bumped for the EQ. As you can see, let me pull up the EQ. We'll see what's going on with the EQ.
I got people in Haiti trying to make a living.
Nice.
Nigga talking shit, nigga trying to stop my living. I work too hard, nigga, please, I gotta say it. I work too hard, nigga, please, I gotta say it. Walling in
You
the
see, now it's 0, 100% 0. But it just, you could see it, but there's no difference. Your ears, doesn't tell any difference because the next vocal, They didn't need it, but that one needed it. So again, here again, that's just for the low pass again that I use. And if I can pull up the low pass, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's just some of those vocal, like, okay, so you see what's going on with the low pass.
Too hard, nigga, please, I gotta say it. I work too hard, nigga, please, I gotta say it. Walling in the...
So as you can see here, it come from here to here. So Shaq process your vocal, you know, the best take he had was this one, to be honest with you.
Fuck your bitch. Sans power. Uji way. No power. When did I be chercher?
So the best take he had, this one. C'est meilleur take we sit now. I like this one. This one is not bad. I kind of like stereo. So I kind of wide this one a little bit. Yeah, I use still widening for that one. Again with a fruity stereo shaper to give it that stereo image. Stereo image. But I kept and I have the telephone going in the middle, sometimes penning to the right, just to kind of like, you know, pour créer espace dans track là. So that's for the automation. And here again, I ended up using the effect because there was again one effect the Kanye West effect. The Kanye West effect, which it's like robotic, the robotic voice, but I use a saturator for that. Where's my saturation? So right now it's totally dry, but watch happen when it goes in there.
Nigga, please, I gotta say it. I work too hard, nigga, please, I gotta say it. Walling.
So that's the effect for the saturation. It gives it that. They get on this side déjà. So I use the effect for that. After that, I still got some. That's the master. That's a filter that I use once in a while in the track. Just when the vocal is coming up, I need to fill out those highs to let the vocal sit a little bit. Just really regular stuff, like, you know. After that, we move on. We move on to the next thing here. Here, there's a vocals when I'm supposed to be in there, but I feel like, yeah, again, here, this is some auto tune. I kind of automated because I think some part of his vocal getting parts by his lips, like for example, this one. Get parts na vocal là qui te besoin auto tune, but some of the part like here again, I have the auto tune solo, not even 100% wet, or it's like maybe about 30% or so, because when it's 100%, it was too robotic. Let me see if I got the auto tune. Channel 9, and that's the auto tune. See, just not enough. Because he recorded it. He used some kind of pitching plugins when he had the vocal. I didn't realize that, so I didn't want to overdo anything. But like, it's just the attitude. So he's not going off, totally off. And this is low mel, which is not true. He's not a low male. At least not in this track. So this is pretty much it. We kept it alive. No track line V. It's called Bird, I think. I don't know. I want to break this down in details, but back when I get down. So we're gonna have a last listen for mastering process, honestly, the track was already mastered. Track, I think it mastered, like I said in the previous video. But I used, my goodness, I used Maximus to kind of like, shape out those bass because I didn't need him. And around 2000, there's that there's that the tone of the bass, which is fine in some track. I get a lot to get tone bass line. I didn't need it, so I kind of dipped a lot. And then around 450, maybe 460, I do the same thing. And around 4000 something. Now, the reason I dipped around this area for the whole track is because when I boost, remember, I boost in one of those vocal, and around this area, the vocals, Crispina's vocal, you can almost say clash avec, I think, it was the main sound of the track, so I kind of do that. And I boost, I boost around, it was like, I boost around 7 something. Not so much because I wanted to have that, because I wanted to have some presence in the high, the treble area. That's what I did with that. Nothing extreme, guys. I use Maximus. I don't usually use Maximus, but I did because I wanted to have the lows so tight and merge the mid a little bit and the high. Nothing extreme, just regular stuff. And for the limiter, this one actually is funny. This one is for the reason I use this one, toujours conseille pas use limiter now on the master channel. I don't usually use limiter, but this one I just set a slight, I just set a really fast attack, I guess. But what I did is I set up the limiter working hard to squash down the bass, because bass line, it comes with a rambling frequency. I don't know if you guys heard this at times. I think the bass that they were clashing when he mixed them. So there's nothing I could do about that. So bass stop clash lem sur fait là. So if I can back changer, I use like a really long tail, long release just to kind of get that last tail bass line. But what I ended up doing is I use saturation to kind of like make it smoother and kind of like make it a bit washy instead of being raw and like pour son vide sec dans oreille, pour son bagay. I use a little bit of saturation. And I have the limiter set, but I still have the saturation calming down on those peaks that I'm limiting to kind of smooth it out and multiply it, saturate a little bit, pour me ajouter couleur là-dedans, add some color. And then this limiter that I use, I give that away. I know if anybody never know, I actually put the picture. You want that limiter? Nothing extreme here. I set it at -2 and I boosted about 5 dB. That's what I did. That's all I did for that. At the track, I did much, so it's crazy. That was a crazy track, man. One more thing I want to say is when you mix, normally for Spotify, I think iTunes, they usually want a UFS of like 14, -14. That's the standard. But I see people go over like -9, -10, but you don't need your track to be that loud, because I think YouTube is -16 actually. So just if you look here, -13.7. So yeah, I like to keep it about -14. Quitter le moins 7, c'est standard, c'est standard la industrie. You voulez pour le moins 7. You have like extreme. You have like, even though you boost it, this might be like -9, because if you go -9, -10, it's gonna be loud. But if you put it on Spotify or YouTube, even SoundCloud, they're gonna reduce it anyway. So I don't see why you feel the need to have your track, your track so loud. I know, but also based on track loud, parce que -14 is a good number. It's the peak is at -7 UFS. you know, or -8 in this case, like, you know, C minus between -8, so it's good. It's not really, it's loud enough. I just want to point that out. I did some saturation on the main mastering channel for each band, I guess, to kind of like, I use clean tip to make the aggressiveness. I like to my best to be aggressive, but this one was too much. So